Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you with yet another edition of Stout Sunday. And joining me, as always, we have Ronald Terrio from Louisiana Beer Reviews and Mr. Michael Kormaroff in Brooklyn. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And we've got Craig Swenson joining us this morning. He is drinking a luscious from The Alchemist. All right. Sounds good. I've never had any beers from them.
From Vermont.
Vermont. Okay. Well, enjoy that, Craig. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get things kicked off here with Mr. Terrio. What are you drinking this morning, Ron?
Well, I have the 2020 Founders, the Great Kosmicki's KBS, widely acclaimed Kentucky Breakfast Stout, a flavored stout, a flavored beer. So I could have drank this, but I could have had, for a flavored beer, Seagram's Escapes. But something's telling me this will be better. In the
I think that'd probably be a little
in
better.
The world. 12% alcohol, 70 IBUs.
All right.
And mine was bottled March 12th.
Okay. Good deal. Mr. Kormaroff, what are you drinking this morning?
From St. James Gate in Dublin. Here is your famous Guinness Extra Stout since, what does it say on the bottle? 1759. So this is probably one of the most famous stouts in the world. And this is a revisit. I've had this several times, but it says internationally brewed. I know they do brew this for international use. I think most of the stuff going on in Baltimore is not the regular stout. It's other applications.
Yeah,
so
like
it's possible, they maybe at some point do that. But as of right now, most of this product is brewed in Ireland.
Right.
11.2 ounce bottle, as are most of the European beers.
Huh. That's interesting. I always thought Guinness was one of the ones that did the 12 ounce.
They did when they were contract brewing it in New Brunswick, Canada. It was 12 ounces and 6% alcohol.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But they changed it and slacked back on us.
Good morning, Julie. Thanks for stopping by. Good morning, Daryl. All right. So interesting. Ron has the KBS 2020. I found a couple bottles of the KBS Espresso 2019, and I picked them all up. This one was bottled on November 15th of 2019, and it is also 12% alcohol, just like the 2020 KBS. And it's interesting, the label says the exact same thing that the regular KBS says. It says ale brewed with chocolate and coffee, aged in oak bourbon barrels. So really the only difference is the type of coffee that they're using with the KBS Espresso versus the regular KBS. And I did drink the regular KBS last weekend for Stout Sunday. I believe I gave it a 98, and it's still relatively fresh in my head. So it'll be interesting to see if I can detect any differences between the KBS Espresso and the standard KBS 2020 that I had last year, or last week, I should say. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into the drinking portion of the show, and we will start back with Mr. Ronald Terrio and his Founders KBS 2020.
All right, so here's the bottle. And I have one bottle left. I'm gonna save it. My friend David said we can review it later if you could save it. I'll try, but I don't do a museum. I don't run a museum, So if you wait too long with me to do a KBS, you've waited too long. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Those beers are hard to hang on to.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to just sit there every time I look in the fridge, see it. I'm going to say, okay, Halloween, that'll be the end. If he doesn't want to review it by Halloween, I'm taking care of it. But he'll probably make it happen. All right. And if he doesn't, he can go to Dornex and get him a 4-pack. They were cheaper at Dornex. They were $18.99. And beyond that, Dornex still had the CBS from last year.
Man, now that's one that I can't get. That the Espresso's still around here, of course, the KBS, because they're putting that out every year, but the CBS has flown off the shelves, and none of the 2019 KBSs are left.
It's like $17.99 a bottle, though.
Yeah. Well, they don't make it anymore, so
I know. It's an antique now. All right, so
right.
A beige had a dark brown appearance. We know the routine. It smells like bourbon barrel, Heaven Hill bourbon barrel. Okay. We did the CBS last year, and I was loving it. And my friend David was like, "It ain't that great." And I was like, "Okay, whatever you say." Then he said, "It would be better if we infused some whiskey in it." Remember that? So I went and got the Heaven Hill Kentucky blended whiskey, and we dumped some in both glasses. And he was like, "Nah, it tastes really good." So
right.
okay. It tastes the same way, like bourbon barrel. Dark chocolate has chocolate in it. Coffee has coffee in it. Creaminess, like coffee and cream. Dark roasted malts, but not burnt. 70 IBUs, but it's not an acrid burnt, like you burnt, you charred some bread and it ruined it. I guess if you thought about it long enough, you might pick up some chalkiness that really gets shown out if you get a 12% lager. They'll have that chalky mouthfeel. I don't know why ales don't too much, but the lagers do. And they'd just be like so off-putting. I guess lagers can't mask certain things, but with all these flavorings, I guess you could.
Right.
And so high medium body, but not a heavy body, believe it or not. And a fairly semi-sweet finish. Somebody was making some cheeky remark. I just deleted it on my channel because I said I usually respond to every comment. Y'all know that, but I didn't want to respond to that kind of comment because it's just like looking for like some conflict. But he was saying something like, "Well, about additives to beer. It's no good because it's got something flavoring added or whatever." And I wanted to say, "Oh, you mean like KBS?" Like, in other words, his point was, if you add any flavoring to any beer, it's no good.
So basically 95% of beer is no good, I guess.
It was like a lower end product, of course.
I mean, pretty much everything uses flavorings now, though, so that's a crazy statement to me.
Right, but what I'm saying is he was saying it was a lower end product, and he was saying that the beer was no good by virtue of having the flavoring added.
Right.
So I was saying, I wanted to say, "Oh, you mean like KBS or CBS or even West Flaterian 12, which has candy sugar." But I said, "Nah, there's no use engaging that because it's just somebody looking for like a conflict." So I just deleted it and moved on. Hey, Julie. Yeah, Steam Controls. That's to use a harsher term. Yeah, this is great. I'm liking it. Loving it. Wouldn't drink it all day long. That's it.
All right. Yeah.
That's all you're going to hear from Louisiana Barrel Aged Imperial Stout reviews.
Right. All right. Well, we will come back around to you shortly. I mean, we all know that the KBS is the winner, so we'll see just how high of a score it gets from you. In the meantime, we got to go to Michael Kormaroff, the Stout King.
There's your
Extra Stout.
There's your famous Guinness bottle again. I'm sure most of the viewers have seen that bottle before.
Sure.
In the glass, in this light that you can see, very dark brown color with a beige head that's about a quarter of a finger, I guess, at this point. It was up to here when it first was poured, and now it's diminished a lot. Let me give it a nose. It's a pretty typical Guinness smell, too. You smell the roasted malts. Background coffee. That's about it, I guess. Let me Give it a taste.
Cheers, Michael.
Cheers to your drinking.
Buddy. Well, the thing they do, which I think makes them always an A beer, is they're on the edge of it being burned, but it is not. They know when to stop the process, and they know when it's ready. So it's almost like you get that char kind of feel to it, but it doesn't reach the point where it gets burned. But that's an important thing when you're brewing a stout, is you want to get that edge, because that's what makes it such a wonderful product. Goes down pretty easy. It's 5.6%. Smooth. You get the roasted malts and the flavor. It's just like, I can't say it's perfect, but I will say that for the consistency of being able to brew this since 1759, it's pretty amazing that you've been able to keep this product the way it is over all these years. So I will come back and have a number for you.
All right. Cheers to Miscellaneous Magnets for stopping by. He says, cheers, now back to work. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, Andrew. Appreciate it. Okay, so for myself here, the KBS Espresso. I'm very excited about this because it's been a while since I've had it. Now, this is the 2019 version, bottled on November 15th. So I'm pretty sure the KBS Espresso for this year hasn't even been released yet. They are putting it back out this year, but this one was bottled in November. So I think it comes out in October, which is the same time that they're supposed to release the new KBS Mackinac Fudge. So I think they'll probably release them both around the same time. Poured it up. There's the pour. Looks the same as Mr. Terrio's did. There's no difference in the appearance between the regular KBS and the KBS Espresso. And it is also 12%, just like the standard KBS.
So the appearance.
So the first thing that I notice with this is the coffee, but then I get a lot of caramel and dark chocolate.
So the appearance is no different, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it looks exactly like the regular KBS, and it's got that classic Founders KBS CBS. Like, you just swirl it around, and no matter how far along in the beer you are, it's got that wonderful regenerating head that I really don't get that with other stouts. Like the Founders CBS and KBS, you can just regenerate that head anytime you want to. It's just such a beautiful appearance for a stout. So the coffee with this is not as prevalent as what I found in the regular KBS, maybe a little bit more balanced. The standard KBS had a ton of coffee up front, and it was kind of hard to pick up on those other notes, at least on the aroma. But with this one, I'm getting a lot more of the dark chocolate, caramel, and then a little bit of the bourbon barrel is coming through. So maybe a little bit more balanced. We'll see on the palate, but it definitely smells like a winner. Of course, I'm not getting any of the 12%. No indication that this is a high alcohol stout. So I am dying to get into this. Cheers, guys.
Cheers to you.
Cheers, John.
Yeah, this is really good. Maybe the fact that this is almost a year old as well. We're getting close to a year old. Maybe it's mellowed out some of those coffee notes. I'm definitely getting the coffee still up front, but it's not as bitter as I remember the KBS being last weekend on Stout Sunday when I had it. So a little bit more mellow with the coffee, which, like I said, allows some of that dark chocolate to come through. There's a nice caramel sweetness in the middle with this one that I'm picking up on. The bourbon notes are definitely there. It is actually slightly warming going down the throat. I don't remember that with the KBS last week, but it is slightly warming. So you know you're drinking a higher alcohol beer, but it's not really boozy. It's just warming going down. It's roasting the middle. You're definitely getting those dark toasted bread notes as well from the roasted malt. Little bit of vanilla, which you could attribute to the bourbon barrel aging as well, but that vanilla is just something to note in addition to the dark chocolate. It's a nice little contrast. This is just an outstanding beer. I think I prefer this one to the standard KBS because the coffee, although it's definitely there, it's not as in your face as with the regular KBS. So maybe a little bit more balance with this one. And like I said, that just allows some of those other characteristics to come through, the dark chocolate and a little sweeter. This one's not as bitter. It's a little bit sweeter, a little bit more caramel sweetness notes on the palate. And I agree with Ron, same as with the standard KBS. It's kind of like a high medium body. It is thick. It is, a heavier beer being that it's a bourbon barrel aged stout, but it's really easy drinking for as thick and high alcohol as it is. So I would say that it's on the medium side with the body. It's not quite into that heavy range, but it's a wonderful beer. And I would highly recommend it to anybody who has not had the Founders KBS or the KBS Espresso. They're both worth checking out. And of course, if you could still find the CBS on the shelves, you need to grab that up because when it's gone, it's gone. So good morning to Blake. Thanks for stopping by. And Mr. Dingleberry Dreams, he says, "What's poppin', Mr. Ron?"
Oh, what's popping? Just beer and some whiskey, scotch, namely, coming up Tuesday on Dawn Buster's Taste Challenge.
Very nice. And then tomorrow night is Multi Monday. We've got the Imperial IPAs, I believe, was the winner of that, which I thought we had already done Imperial IPAs, but I guess not. But that should be easy for everybody to find. So, okay, thanks. Let's see. We got to go back around here. Thanks to everybody in the chat. So let's go back to Ronald Terrio of Louisiana Barrel Aged Imperial Stout reviews with his KBS. I'm just dying to know if this beer gets a 98, a 99, or 100, because I have a feeling it's going to be one of the three.
Don't presume about what I'm going to.
Or I don't know. Maybe that's one of those extra credit beers where it gets 101.
Uh-oh. You've entered the Ron zone.
Well, people said a lot of bad things about Founders last year, and I was very disturbed by that because I have had the same experience with people saying ugly lies about me, and the worst thing about it is that people would run behind that without any kind of real evidence. So I was in kind of defending them in some ways. So, but beyond that, and I had people tell me I would never drink Founders again. And I was like, okay, don't. And then even people on Alcohol Eggs putting F Founders, and they weren't saying letter F Founder. I just deleted the comment with an implied warning that if they keep doing that, they won't be in the group. That Alcohol Eggs is not for that kind of stuff.
Right.
You can join a drama beer group or whatever for that. So I think they do a great job. I know they got bought out, so people had a hissy fit about they're not independent, they're foreign owned, the beer's gonna be ruined. I hate it now. I only drink craft beer, I only buy craft products, handmade products. Let me go drive to the store in my Chevrolet. I'm like, right, that's handmade. Okay, and your handmade clothes and your handmade food.
Right, yeah. Beer is one of those things that it's like a separate thing from everything else because, I only buy craft independent beer, but I'll buy, my clothing, my food, everything else.
Right. Is their argument is I'm trying to help the mom and pop people. That's who needs my help. I was like, okay, well, I said, well, hey, why do you have this Banquet macaroni and cheese in your refrigerator, your freezer? Well, I eat it sometimes when I'm watching TV. Oh, you're watching TV on a handmade television. You have some guy in the mountains in Montana made it right by hand. Oh, no, not handmade. All right. Anyway, it's so comical to see that kind of strange approach to life. I don't care if it's macro, micro, or middle crow. I love it. And hold on, let me pour a little bit more. I wouldn't drink this all day because I would say more outrageous things on the internet. Like with the situation of the Coney Island human blockhead in the 22-ounce bottle. I remember drinking that whole bottle. I was like, this stuff's not even affecting me. It's not that strong. And then I drank the whole bottle and I said, oh, I got to get up and lay down on the floor for a minute. So I got up and I said, just 15 minutes, I'm going to feel better. So I laid down on the carpet here. And then I got up and I said, whoa, I feel better. Man. I said, 15 minutes did me good. And I looked at, I said, it's 2 hours. And then I was like, who typed all this stuff on my Facebook page? Like, what is all of this? I was like, oh, wait, that's me. Yikes. So, yeah, be careful, people.
Yeah, it's so dangerously smooth. You could get in a lot of trouble and not even.
Oh, man. And that human blockhead was like one of the original barrel-aged stouts. And it was gone with the wind. It's sad because that was from Coney Island.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Brooklyn. Man, this beer is so good. I mean, why wouldn't I give it 100? Short answer long, I would give it 100. I will give it 100, and I have given it 100. So I'm giving it 100.
All right. Like, yeah. Hard to argue with that. I think I gave it a 98 just because I've had better, but there's not many out there that are better.
Yeah, I mean it's $5 a bottle. It is $5 a bottle. So people tell me,
when I bought the KBS this year, I thought it's cheaper here in my area. The 4-packs were running $16.99, and then the Founders Underground Mountain Brown was $14.99 for a 4-pack. Both of those prices have come down from last year. So next time I go to the Pack to World of Beverage, I'm going to pick up a 4-pack of the Underground Mountain Brown for this year because I remember that being pretty much a world-class brown ale. So,
yeah, and if I thought coronavirus would make the prices drop for these stouts, I would start wearing a mask. Just to get the cheaper price instead of being, all difficult about it. So yeah, 100 out of 100. It's like, oh, so good. Oh, so very good.
All right. So 100 out of 100 for the KBS. That's going to be hard to top. Michael Kormanoff, what are you thinking about that Guinness Extra Stout?
It seems to be the same number I always give it. I'm going to give it a 95. It's a solid A. It's consistent. It stays pretty much the same, and I really like it. And my only comment on Founders, and I think we've mentioned this in passing, the co-op stopped handling it based on that scandal last year, which probably was something that could happen with any brewery, that you have a discontented employee who files a suit, and that's not any reason to stop buying Founders. But since the co-op is an organization that can choose what they want to buy and what they don't want to buy, they arbitrarily stop buying it, which means now I have to buy 4-packs because I can no longer buy singles. Now, That's whatever. It doesn't mean I won't buy Founders again. I buy a 4-pack. I did try the 2020 KBS. So I haven't tried the espresso version that you have, but I would. But it's kind of hard to be arbitrary, but when you're in a power position, you can do whatever you want. And there's, it's not like the people in the co-op are going to go, no Founders, we're not going to buy any beer from you anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's, you got to be reality based too. And everybody's not willing to spend, $5 plus for a 12-ounce beer. So it's a limited market of people who are buying it anyway. And they did have other Founder stuff too. That wasn't the only thing they had. So I wouldn't say they had their whole line because the co-op doesn't have the space to do that. But I think they always pretty much had 4 or 5 different Founders beers during the regular year. And then when these things came out, the barrel aged stuff, she would always have at least a couple of cases of it for you to buy. So we lost that element now, which is, disturbing to me, but I'm probably one of the few people who's affected by it at the food co-op. But I still like Bourbon County better if I had to pick a barrel-aged stout. And I haven't given any hundreds. The highest I've given is 99. And I think I gave the founders, like you did, John, a 98. But, it's just when you're talking about those small points at the top, it's, they're all world-class to me. So I consider the founders also to be right on that edge.
Yeah, same here.
Timing it when it's 98, 99, 100, or as Jay does, 100 plus. Well,
those teachers, they love their extra credits, so we'll let them slide. We'll let them slide.
Jay, so far, what is your extra credit one? It's a Belgian beer, right? Is it the 12 from the one you bought for $85 a six pack? Is that your
West Flotarian?
Well, West Flotarian 12 is certainly above 100, and the way I see it is, it better be above 100 if I paid $14 a bottle for an 11.2 ounce bottle. If I'm paying $14 for an 11.2 ounce bottle, and it doesn't score above 100, I'm mad, So, but yeah, it was like the best.
Now, wasn't the West Flotarian 12? Wasn't that one of those parking lot, like trunk of the car type deals?
West Flotarian 12. No. West Flotarian 12. The situation there was very easily explained. In 2012, the monks needed to do a roof repair on their monastery. The cost of the roof repair was so expensive that they decided to break their tradition of never selling it outside the monastery. So they sold it for a limited time, which in fact was actually one entire day in the United States, to raise money for the roof repair, which did. So I got some heads up that it was coming to this town, but then Houston couldn't get it. So here I live in a town with 25,000 people, but Houston with 5 million couldn't get it. I don't know. I can't explain it. So I said, I'll take it. So I went over there and I got 2 6-packs. And then I got a call from the store saying, yeah, actually one of those 6-packs was for somebody else that's coming in from the state capitol. You think you could bring it back? Now, I could have been hard about it and said, wait, you sold it to me. I bought it. There was no question. It's mine. I bought 2 6-packs, $85 a 6-pack. But then I said, I don't want to see a lot of people get fired, so I was like, oh, hell. So I brought it back and I got a refund, on my card. But they sold it and it was delivered on a trains. Apparently they had armed guards on the trains because they were worried it was going to get hijacked. And I'm not joking. It sold out across the United States in like 3 hours. Wow. Everybody that got it, it sold out. So I said, I got mine, haha, with 2 glasses. Now, what happened was I posted a photo on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever. I got West Flotarian 12. So within 20 minutes, I got a contact from somebody saying, okay, here's what's going to happen. If we can meet at the parking lot at that store.
Okay.
I got the cash. He said, I got the cash. And believe me, you're going to get a lot of Imperial Stouts that you can't get that cost me a lot. All right. I said, you got it. So I went over there and he got his bottle. I got my cash. I got my number of beers. And, we moved from there. So that's how serious it was. It was like a big deal. And it lasted about 6 hours and that was it.
I mean, anytime you're going, somebody wants to meet you in a parking lot for a beer exchange, you mean serious business. That's
right. I was exchanging 1 beer
for a lot of other beers
and cash money. He was that, because the guy knew. He was like, he lives across the river from me, on the west bank of the river. He was like, if I don't get this now, I can never get it, right? Unless I go to Belgium. Well, it was a lot cheaper for him to make the deal with me than fly to Belgium.
Right.
I have never had anything from West Flotarian. I haven't even had their. Audrey's going to get this. Let's muffle it.
Yeah, West Flotarian 12 is now. It's true. St. Bernardus Abbot 12 is a mimic of it because the people that used to make West Flotarian 12 was St. Bernardus. It's a brewery. They did contract brewing. And so then when they had the whole thing in 1992 with the Trappist, a Trappist ale had to be made by monks. So the abbey told the company, well, we can't let you make it anymore or we'll lose our Trappist certification. And they were like, oh, well, that's all right. But they had the recipe in their mind, you see. So they started making, so immediately when they lost the contract, they started making Abbott 12. And I think Abbott 12 is great. I mean, it's 100. The worst score you could give St. Bernardus Abbott 12 is 100. That's if you were lowballing it.
And you haven't even had the sour version yet.
Yeah.
The one that I had on
sour. You can say, it's all right. It's 100. You know, it's just 100.
I haven't had the sour version either. I have had the regular Abbott 12 though, which is
I'm pretty sure I gave that one on Multi Monday. I'm pretty sure I gave that 100. Actually, I don't give a lot of 100s. I was like, I got to give it 100 because the regular Abbott 12 was a 99. I was like, well, this is better than that. So the only way to go is up.
But I still think I can't explain it. You know, like I can't figure it out. But I still think the West Lateran 12 was better, and I don't know why. It's just maybe I'm trying to like convince myself that I didn't get ripped off by paying $85 a six-pack. But it was just something about it. I couldn't like explain it.
It was made, Jay. It was made by the monks, and that's worth an extra point. Just the fact
divine. It was divine intervention involved. The Lord made sure that it was perfect.
Yeah, they put some little monk magic in it. I don't know, but it was great. You know, it's fun. It was kind of fun. Like the whole thing was fun. Like I got to get it, and everybody was like, "Oh man, I can't believe it!" You know, so of course you like attention. You know, and you can tell everybody, "Yeah, I got it. I'm drinking it." You know, so I mean, it was cool. You know, hopefully their roof will deteriorate quickly.
And they need a new repair, and they'll do it again.
Just
something? I probably would be willing to pay $85 for a six-pack of that. I probably.
Oh, you do it. You go for it.
Yeah. I would do it. I would do it.
I would. It's a once in a lifetime,
one-time thing, and you just say to yourself, you know, you're not going to get another chance, so why not do it? So I
would be willing to pay very good money for a bottle of Old Rip Van Winkle, but that'll probably never happen.
I can get that from time to time. I've had some Van Winkle because
I know I saw that and the what was it? The Four Roses, like the really high end
edition 10-year. Yeah. Well, what happened was I can't say too much, but somebody approached me and said, "Would you like these whiskeys?" I don't drink alcohol. He told me I don't really drink. You know me. But this guy who loves my store, who comes in here and buys all this expensive whiskey, gave me these vials full of Pappy Van Winkle, 18-year age, and this Four Roses Special Edition 10-year. He said they're real expensive. Do you want them? Well, that's like asking a heroin addict if they want heroin. You know, it's stupid. It's a stupid question. So only shoot up high grade heroin. What do you got? You know. So I said, well, yeah, I'll take it. So I did the videos. I mean, it was great, but it's not like people call me up and give me extremely expensive bourbon all the time. But yeah, Pappy Van Winkle is very rare.
Robert said he would even pay for it, but he says that the price right now is out of his range because he's been shifting these different jobs that he's been doing. But he would love to be able to own a bottle. And you saw his store that he has back there. He'd like to have a Pappy Van Winkle bottle there. He just figures the price is just too high at this point.
Now, my friend David Garlapede, my friend David, he's been drinking since he was like in third grade. He said, but he does drink in kind of a reviewer type way, you know, where he's like checking out. So he said, he said, man, yeah, I know Michael doesn't comment, but he's seen a lot of videos with David, right?
Yeah, I like David's videos when he does them with you. I think it's great.
It's like, he was like, man, I remember back when Pappy Van Winkle was just ordinary. You could buy that for like $50 a bottle. Now it's like this big deal. And I was like, when was Pappy Van Winkle like ordinary? He said, I don't know, about like 1982. I said, oh, okay. And you used to get it? Well, yeah, I mean, people could get it. So he remembers before it was like a thing.
Yeah.
When actually Pappy was still alive, the man was still alive. I think he died like 20 years ago, but
nobody can predict what's going to happen with alcohol, just like anything else. And the fact that alcohol can keep over time. Somebody at that stage when it was first on the market could have cleaned up just by having cases of it, loading it up.
Right, but they never knew it was going to become this $300 bottle thing. You know, they just thought, it's some old guy, some old man and his family that makes bourbon. They don't know it's going to get to be this.
It's almost cult-like now, according to Rob.
Oh, it's a cult, believe me.
So, and I don't know how, Jay, since you taste it, how does it compare with the top of the line bourbon that you've had? Would you say it's that much better, or is it just, going on the fact that people?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's probably half and half. It's probably half of it is just people claiming it's so great because it's rare. And then they want to get on the internet and brag about how they've got it,
I've never had it, so I can't tell you.
I don't know. I don't know enough about bourbon whiskey to be able to say that me drinking that made it much better than the rest. I didn't say a lot. There was a lot I could have said on that video that I just held back because I was scared. Like I was like, I'm thinking it, but I'm not saying it. I would recommend it. Yes, I would recommend it. I don't know if I do like I did with the Johnny Walker Blue Label and paid $226 plus tax. I did that once.
Like you're saying, you can do anything once as long as you can afford to spend the money.
If you can afford it, then go ahead and do it. Now, if you're using a credit card and buying it on credit, then that means you can't afford it because
you really should. It should be a cash purchase or one you can pay for when the bill comes. Otherwise, you shouldn't do it.
Right. If you're paying notes, then you can't afford it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So, John, what are you going to rate yours? Is it going to be the same 100 that Ron gave his, or are you going to be one step below?
I don't think so. So the KBS last week, I'm pretty sure I gave a 98 out of 100, and I deducted the 2 points because the coffee was a little too forward and it wasn't quite as balanced as I would have liked. Took away from the barrel notes, etc. This one is a little bit more mellow. It could be partially because it's a little bit older. It's got some age to it, but I think that it's the espresso that they're using in here. It's a little less robust. It balances out a little bit better with the other flavors in the beer. So I'm going to go 99. Okay. It's still not as good as the Bourbon County Northwood Stout Edition that I gave 100. I still think I'd prefer the CBS as well because I like the maple sweetness that offers, which complement the barrel notes even better than the coffee, I think. But I'm going to give it a 99 because I do think it's better than the standard KBS. And, for all intents and purposes, it pretty much is in my rating system. That would fall in the lines of a world-class beer.
So only a 99. Well,
only a 99. Yeah. I mean, it's.
Yeah, if you're slumming it. I guess if you're slumming it, it's okay.
Right. Really quick, I do want to go back to the chat because we've got some great comments. And I don't want to forget about you guys. So Commerce Ozzy, who is always joining us on these Stout Sundays, he's drinking a Saugatuck Brewing Company Neapolitan Milk Stout. I think he's had that one before. I remember, I think that must be one of his favorites. Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry stout, of course, the Neapolitan. Yeah, that sounds really good. And he's also going to have a KBS and Underground Mountain later today, probably. Well, that's going to be
like a heavy day for Commerce.
That's going to be one hell of a Sunday for you right there.
Yeah, watch it. Watch it. Don't go too far.
Jeremy says, I bet the Dolphins won't lose today. That's right, because they already won Thursday night against the Jags. Friar Tuck, $85 isn't too bad for once in a lifetime. I agree. Because chances are you wouldn't be able to find something like that. If you do, whatever the price is, you better snatch it up because you're never going to see it again. Just like I'll never see Mickey's Ice again. I saw it one time in Gainesville, Florida. I should have bought that 6-pack, and now forget about it. Even though that's not on the same level as the West Flatarian 12, of course. I'm just using that as an example. Friar Tuck says he's drinking Ginny Cream Ale as he watches and a Black Boss Porter 9.4%. I've heard good things about that. I know Mr. Cherio's had it. I think Michael may have had that as well.
I think I've actually had it. I think I did it once on Sunday.
I've never. Yeah, that's right. I have never had that. I've been looking for it. If I find it, I'll definitely check it out. I think Jeremy says David started in 3rd grade. Savage. Yeah, that's right. Drunkenwood, good morning to you. And Friar Tuck is talking about the Narragansett used to be considered budget beer, but it's now considered low-end craft or high-end budget. That's interesting because here we get the Narragansett and the Autocrat Milk Stout now, and they're actually pretty cheap here. So maybe they're priced higher in your area because of where you live.
As a matter of fact,
Bill McIntyre. Welcome in, Bill. Bill has been coming back around. You're gonna have to wake up and join one of these Stout Sundays, Bill. We miss you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, not sure how much better a high-priced bourbon can be over the really good bourbons you can find. Yeah, there's a lot of good bourbons out there. For example, I've got, well, although I don't think it's labeled as a bourbon, but technically or legally speaking, it qualifies, the George Dickel 12. I've been sipping on that over the last few days, and
don't drink it all. Don't drink it all.
Yeah, no, I'll save a little bit for a review and examination. But yeah, that's good stuff, and it was $18.99 for a bottle, so hard to argue with that price point. And Commerce Ozzy says that the KBS and KBS Espresso, CBS, and Underground Mountain all get a 98 from him. So yeah, absolutely, I am not going to argue with that. They're all excellent stouts. I mean, some of the best in the world, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure if I could get the Bourbon County original 15.2 or 15.4 or 14.7 in some, any of them, I'm sure I would probably give that a 99 or 100. But unfortunately, that's one of the ones that can't get here in Georgia. All right. That is it for the chat. We are all caught up. We've all given our ratings. I'll go ahead and actually, for anybody that might be tuning in late, I'll put the ratings on the bottom of the screen there. All solid A to world-class beers today. I mean, I would consider that a success for Stout Sunday.
I would.
Cannot do much better than that.
That's right.
Now,
Commerce says the KBS and Underground Mountain will last 4 to 5 hours.
It probably borders on a 96. I just want to give the same rating every time because it's not like it's better. It's the same. You know, it's very consistently the same.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Well, does anybody have any announcements, anything like Ron? I don't know if you've got anything exciting. If you want to give us a sneak peek about stuff coming up on your channel. And Michael, I know your beer club
I'll talk about it.
Is over. So.
Well, the only thing I can mention is this Thursday is the first Thursday in October. So as I have the one at my house, it's because the pandemic is still ongoing. We're kind of caught in the middle. And I'm sure you do, even in Georgia now, you do have some incidents of it. So it's not like it's completely gone away. So here, if you have friends who are beer drinkers who want to be outside, it's getting to the time of year where this will probably be the last one we'll be able to do outside. So I have a backyard, and I'm opening that up as a possibility if that'll be what'll make or break people coming. Now, in the past, all during the whole thing, we've done it upstairs with very few people. I'd rather have a larger group in the backyard, but we'll see what materializes. It's all very last minute. So we'll see who comes, what happens. And if it's based on the fact that you have to be outside, I'm willing to do it. So
you could always do the video, the Zoom calls again. And those are always fun.
That was fun, but that was all different stuff. I like doing the same beer in a group and getting that camaraderie kind of thing. I mean, Jay was here in June of 2015 and was able to do a little one with 4 of us, but I've done ones with 14 people at the table up in my kitchen. And it's amazing. In a bigger group, it's harder because then you have to go, you know, I go 1, 2, 3, and everybody gives the number, and then you have to go around to each person, write it in and whatever. But it is interesting. And despite the pandemic, we're still doing it. And it's had weird things that have happened. Some people bring their own glass. like it's going to be spread. I mean, it's just, some of it doesn't make sense that it could be spread like that, but whatever. I do the best I can. That's all I can do. And hopefully I'd rather have more attendees than have be forced to do it upstairs with just 3 or 4 people. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The Beach Club was over 2 weeks ago. So that is over.
All right. So, Ron, what a little show and tell? Or
no real show and tell. I got a pumpkin beer and some pumpkin beers on the trip yesterday. And then, hello, Nina Yordi. I wish Nina Yordi would join us for Hangouts again.
Yeah, she was pretty popular on the live streams there for a few weeks. Then she just kind of stopped joining. Maybe, I don't know, maybe back at work or whatever. Yeah, King Robert. Mm-hmm.
We bought that. I bought that on the trip to see you first time.
World of Beverage, yeah.
And the competitor is a very rare product. I say rare because most people can't get it. That would make it rare, right?
John Barr.
Says since 1881. So most people can't get it since 1881. All right. I was able to get this at a store for cheap because most places, the few that have it, there are some places that have it online. I noticed that they have it for like $23, $24, not expensive. I got it for $15.65. So I figured, what the heck, So it's going to go against everybody. I did a solo review. It did actually very well. It did better than I thought. And it's made by a bigger company called White and McKay. White and McKay bought them out, but that's the way it works these days. And so King Robert, that's another mysterious brand. So I'm going to go through the whole gamut, do everything. We'll see what happens. I think it's not going to be like the Crown Royal Bourbon Mash that won every single taste challenge. But,
right now, this Wednesday we've got another wild card on Wednesday, and then the next week, being the first Wednesday of October, we're doing the pumpkin beers. Correct?
Right. I still have to get mine. I don't have a pumpkin beer yet. I have a week and a half to get it. I'll find one by then. It's funny, they've been all over the place since August, and I just haven't picked one up yet. The co-op definitely had several, so I'll definitely go shopping there before October 7th and get one. And I think I only have one more Guinness left, and that may go at the beer thing on Thursday, so I have to get some more stouts too, for certain.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if nobody has anything else, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Okay, it's been a good one.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Thanks for letting me join.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we will end it there, folks. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. Great chat going today. Really appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you guys. Thank you to my wonderful panel, Mr. Ron Terrio from Louisiana Beer Reviews. If you haven't already, go check his channel out. I mean, if you're watching this, chances are you're already subscribed to Mr. Terrio, but if not, go check him out. And, of course, Mr. Michael Kormaroff, you can catch him here every Sunday morning on Stout Sunday and Multi-Monday on Bumpy Road Brewery's channel, as well as Wildcard Wednesday, and occasionally a few other streams here and there. So that'll do it, guys, for this edition of Stout Sunday. Hope everybody enjoys the rest of their weekend. Enjoy your football, your basketball, your baseball, whatever it is that you're into. And until next time, cheers, everybody.
Take care.